Since Call of Duty first came out in 2003, the only titles I've skipped are Ghosts, Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 4. And now in less than the time it takes to play one game of Team Deathmatch, I'm going to summarise why this year I'll be adding Black Ops 7 to that very short list of COD games that I didn't want to spend my money on. So first off, the good points. Yep, maps drastically improved on Black Ops 6. Can't really put the two side by side. Black Ops 6 had some of the worst game maps, multiplayer maps we've ever seen from any game ever. The maps in this game are not perfect, but they are drastically improved. Much more sensible in terms of the exposure through the sight lines. Not strictly 3 lanes, but much more typical sort of 2 ends to the map, and then a few lanes in between them. Just there's a bit more mazy sort of crisscrossing in between, but overall, maps loads better. Second in the good points, visual clarity. Particularly if you're a mouse and keyboard player, visual clarity is noticeably improved in this game. When firing a gun, I didn't really find the sort of the bounce of the sights and all the gun smoke and all that kind of stuff and visual recall all that much to really affect it. There was just usual issues with tracking on mouse and keyboard, but it's not so much down to visual clarity. Persistent lobbies and queue times. Queue times are drastically improved in Black Ops 7 beta at least, and you won't wait long to get into a map. Persistent lobbies means that if you don't have to come out to change your playlist or to tweak a loadout or something, if you stay in the lobby, there's a chance you're going to stay in there with some other people and get a chance to settle a score or for them to get vengeance on you, depending on how your previous game has gone. Cheaters. I'd say overall it was a good experience. Personally, I don't think I generally have a horrendous problem with cheaters in multiplayer compared to Warzone. I know it's a big issue in ranked, but I don't think it's terrible in regular multiplayer. Sort of 15 games I think I maybe played. I ran into one cheater and it wasn't obvious. They were trying to hide it, but I'm fairly sure they had wall hack. It was enough for me to report them anyway. But that was it. That was my only experience. No raid trackers, none of that stuff going on. I know it has been reported, but obviously with social media, you're going to get to see that stuff. But overall, for a game that's completely free to play, it didn't affect my experience of the game, or at least I wasn't aware of it affecting my experience. On to the things that are okay with the game. The sound design of the game. Overall, the overall volume is far less obnoxious. Kill streaks and announcements aren't constantly meaning you're feeling like you're going deaf. But what I will say is that you can't hear footsteps. Unless you're in a quiet corner of the map, you're not hearing footsteps, and even then, it might just be your own. So it's sort of like a nice, mellow sort of sound stage, but I had it on Treyarch mix. I don't know if some of the other mixes are better. I've got very good headphones. You can check out my video description if you want to see what those are. But even with my very good headphones on Treyarch mix, I wasn't getting an incredible dynamic range, I felt. SBMM, you might have seen that they've been playing with minimizing SBMM. Personally, I'll be honest, it felt like it was largely the same old COD experience for me. I tried some with, some without. I wasn't noticing drastically different experience. Like, everybody could shoot a gun. There were varying degrees of how quick people would kill you, and certainly movement is more obvious between some people, but I was not really seeing anybody who's sort of crouch walking around. People who just can't shoot at all. I just didn't run into those people at all, whether that was open playlist, closed playlist, whatever. Everybody could shoot. If you're not getting decent shots on people, you're dead pretty quick in this game. So in terms of what's going on there, it's like the same old experience as far as I'm concerned. Guns and perks. Again, similar sort of story here. Guns and perks, very much same of the previous Call of Duty games. Nothing very exciting about it, nothing particular original. All the perks certainly pretty much just been relabeled. Even the kill streaks, they're all just rehashed stuff. Guns, they are what they are. I felt SMGs a little bit underwhelming. Sniping and shotguns definitely improved. I was definitely enjoying, even with a non-leveled up sniper, I was enjoying a bit of quick scoping and using a sniper in a multiplayer map, which was really good fun. Not been able to enjoy that in a while, so that was nice. Certainly once you get some stuff leveled up. I think they're all going to be pretty usable, but maybe a little bit dull. And again, maybe paired in with the average sort of soundstage, you're not getting a great immersive chunky gun sound coming out of the guns. I did notice that it's all just a little bit whatever. But it meant it wasn't intrusive. I don't know. They were fine. It's fine. And then finally onto the bad points. Network connectivity. It's been horrendously bad in Call of Duty of recent years. It's no different this year. It's maybe a little bit better than Black Ops 6, where I thought it was awful, but still network connectivity and that feeling of you know, if you get first shots on, you're going to get the kill. I didn't necessarily feel that was the case in this game. People would suddenly, you know, you could see the face in one way, but you'll die even, and then watch the kill cam, and they've tracked you, but it's just not what you've seen on your screen. And then also ducking behind cover and then dying once you've got behind cover. You know, not as bad as Black Ops 6, but still definitely an issue. COD HQ is still present. That's not going anywhere yet, seemingly. It's an awful, just clunky barrier to the game, but that all comes down to how everything all integrates, and they want to run their game and their franchise. Personally, just get rid of it. Have a brand new game every year, but I could go on about that for even longer. But yeah, COD HQ means a million of menus, all the update requires restart, all that kind of rubbish. Get rid. That does sort of lead in nicely, potentially, into another bad point: optimization. This game just doesn't run that well, despite the fact that it doesn't look absolutely breathtaking or anything. It's of a similar visual sort of performance to Delta Force, Battlefield, Fragpunk, XDefiant, those sort of similar games. But it just runs worse. The frame rates are worse on my PC. I've got a reasonable PC. I see good performance out of those games. Call of Duty, certainly playable, but considering I'm on like a more higher of mid-range PC, you are going to struggle on an older machine, I suggest. And then ultimately, finally, why am I not buying this game? To put a big bow around everything I've just said, why on balance of all of that? It's the same old COD. It's just the same old COD, man. This is like, although the wall jumping sort of is nice, and maybe the game flows a little better, and they've tweaked a few things, and it just feels generally a bit better than Black Ops 6, which was awful, so that was like a great baseline to start from in terms of making things better. But it's just, it is what it is. It's a Call of Duty, like, but nothing special at all. And if you've never played Call of Duty before, then you'll probably go in and you'll find this is a fantastic, smooth experience. But for somebody who's been playing all these CODs all these years, there's just nothing about Call of Duty this year that's getting me excited or getting me hyped up. In recent years, I've been much more enjoying Warzone as my sort of interesting, you know, immersive experience, and multiplayer is just like a little filler you go to sort of pass the time, get warmed up, that kind of stuff. And so I'm sort of enjoying that with Delta Force now, and hopefully with Arc Raiders. But Warzone's just in the gutter, nothing new there. It's the same old problems with that game that I've covered in other videos. And multiplayer, I'm just not buying Call of Duty just for multiplayer this year. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it for me. There's nothing there that excites me enough to fork out 60, 70 quid or whatever. Maybe next year, COD. They're talking about doing a return to Modern Warfare 4 next year. We'll see. Is it going to be a bit like when they went back to Modern Warfare 2019 and went with a real gritty experience, and it was all good and felt like chunky and immersive again after all the Black Ops stuff? We'll see. I've tried to make this as quick as possible. Hopefully you found this useful and enjoyed some of the gameplay in the background, but I'll see you for the next one.